Well, hello. We are going to throw down yet another edition of Out of the Park Baseball with the future Cleveland Indians. They're coming off the 2025 World Series title. Very exciting stuff. And I'm looking forward to showing you the bizarre and unusual world of baseball that exists in the future. If I can get back to the screen, maybe. Whoop. So I've started some of the off-season stuff because occasionally it can get a little mundane digging through all of the different free agency things and salary arbitration. There's one particular guy that I want to try to get, or I wanted to try to get a better contract for, but he was basically asking for $61 million a year. So he's going to get traded at some point. However, not yet, because he's a fantastic center fielder. The most exciting thing to me is that we got Corey Kluber to resign, who is now 39 years old and picked up the save in the winning World Series game. So he's had an interesting journeyman career after leaving Cleveland in 2019. But he's back, and he pitched 101 innings at age 39. As we're going here, if there's anything in particular you guys want to see, if there's anything that intrigues you, that you want to check out more, let me know. But for now, let's see the terrible, awful damage from arbitration. So, I'm not like the Indians in real life where I try to avoid arbitration because I don't think digital players can get their feelings hurt for going to arbitration. But there's a few guys who made quite a bit of money because they went with the player. Actually, most of them ended up going to the player. Some of them were expensive. Ronald Washington's the guy that wanted $61 million. So I'm okay with 14. That'll do. I mean, you want a team-friendly extension if you're going to do it before the end of arbitration, but $61 million is only friendly to the player, I think, unless he is literally Babe Ruth, and that's not the case for this guy. So anyway, financially, when we started this playthrough, the Indians were $100 million in the hole, so we just kind of gave up on that first season entirely and traded as many people as we could. Somehow that resulted in the team winning the World Series the next year with the lowest payroll in baseball, which was not at all what I had planned. I wanted to lose yet again and get a good draft pick and shed some more contracts, but the game had other ideas, and fortunes have quickly turned around in future Cleveland. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of free agency I'm going to do, because as you can see, we shed all of that contract weight, but after arbitration, there's really not much left, because the team payroll still isn't that high. The team's in a pretty good spot. The only thing I'm still concerned about is it would be nice to have one more better starting pitcher, but I'm not going to complain that there's this many guys with arms that aren't terrible. I do like those 32 walks per 9 innings, though. That's pretty solid. How do you get into 9 games and do that? This motherfucker got into 9 games and completed 1.2 innings. I'm keeping my eye on you, Kyle. Manny Flores gets a pass. He only had 1 game. Poor guy. Anyway. As always, one thing I'm trying to keep an eye on here is any interesting international free agents, and then specifically any left-handed relief pitchers, because inexplicably I never seem to be able to find any of those at any time that don't immediately blow out their arm in this game. It's very frustrating. It makes me very sad. I also have Chinese food here. I hope you don't mind if I eat some of it while I'm playing. I haven't eaten since breakfast, and I was supposed to get this in half an hour. Oh well. Also, let me know if the volume on the music is too low or too loud or just right. Other thing to note is that I have a little bit of inflation cooked into this. So $65 million is still absolutely insane. But a star level contract now is like 23, 25, 30. That's not too crazy. We're going to do a quick tour of Bryce Harper's career, though. Not too shabby. This is actually not the best that I've seen him do in this game. I've seen people post, and this is with just default settings, he'll go on like 5-6 year tears where he has 11 or 12 wins above replacement. Although I think that scowl is about right for him. I think Kershaw was insane too. No, only moderately so. That's kind of awful that he ended up on the Giants. Oh, that's nightmare fuel for people. Yep. So, if there's anything that the Indians are going to do in free agency, it's not going to be anything big. It sounds like every Indians offseason except this one. Also, there's a little bit of an inflation with overall ratings because I tweaked development and the time that people start to decline. So, like, normal wins above replacement and other stats are still there. It's just everyone, according to general normal statistics, is kind of superhuman. And I kind of don't even want to deal with free agency this year. What's the point? Ugh. The team doesn't really need anybody, I don't think. There used to be a very easy way, and I think there still is, to look at overall ratings. If I could remember, that would be great. There it is. Yeah, so there's, places to improve. I don't think they're right about the pitching for the team, but that's whatever. So a catcher would be nice to go out and get. Is that really my shortstop? I don't have a shortstop. Do I have one coming up? No. Well, there's a couple guys that could contribute, but there's no one good. So that could be fun. We can poke around and see if there's a bargain there. One thing that's gone really well in this playthrough for some reason is waiver picks. I think my top 4 relievers I picked up on waivers from people, which it's usually not anywhere near that successful. I don't really know how it happened. That's actually doable. So he's got a good glove. We know that. This is really unusually affordable, and I'm not sure why this is happening. Oh, and he's first in line at the local blood drive for sweetheart. Asking for 8 years, but I'll try bargaining him down some. And I'm sure that's not going to be the contract he accepts because it's the first day of free agency, but whatever. This really might be the only guy I go after at all. Well, since he doesn't seem to want to respond right away, we'll just fast forward. Okay. So he's still looking. One of the nice things that's set up now is there's not really that many guys that are locked up long term. I did get the pitcher and one of the best third basemen in baseball to sign long-term contracts, but it's a short window, and or everybody needs an extension after the end of this year. Yeah, so depending on how this season goes, good old Ronald Washington might have to get traded. So his offer is somewhat more reasonable now for what he wants his extension to be. $61 million. Let me see. If we can get something good from him with an early opt-out clause, that might be worth our time. But we're not going to do it in the off-season. Cole Stewart's a funny guy. Going into the playoffs, I thought we could use one more arm. He was coming off Tommy John surgery. As you can see, it was catastrophic. He did not do very well. I'm surprised he even got $6 million, but this is one of the expansion teams that we added. So they're probably desperate still anyway. One of the other interesting things is a lot of the people that I had traded for when I was unloading contracts before are pretty, like, they were 19, 20 years old. They weren't necessarily ready. So there's a few guys that are still a couple years away that in the OOTP world I'm excited about. Not quite as excited as I am about like real life Greg Allen or Will Benson or something, but still excitement. Very weird that he doesn't offer one that scales at all. I'll give him that. So if he plays lights out, he can skip town. And, you know, shortstops as they get older, particularly ones that rely on their glove, don't always continue to be effective. It may not be a bad thing at all if he decides to leave. Or, also interesting that teams aren't trying to trade with me anymore. I certainly don't mind that because a lot of times you just get really sad offers from people where they want you to trade your top overall prospect for a light-hitting but kind-hearted utility player. Probably also first in line in his local blood drive. But no, you don't trade the future of your franchise for that guy. I feel like there's something else I could do or should do. It's not like a fantastic team offensively, and the pitching staff is still kind of strung together with glue and fishing line, but what the hell? We can get this shortstop, I'll feel pretty good because that's one more solid contributor in the infield, which will help a lot. I should probably also make sure we're protecting people for the Rule 5 draft. Like this guy. That's not anything. I'm not worried about him. I don't think there's anyone else that's unprotected. How do we feel about... I don't think he's worth protecting. This guy... Wow. 20 out of 20 in power. Plays a lot of positions. Nah. Well, he might be... No. If he was like 30 overall or something already, I would think about it. But I don't necessarily expect any of those guys to contribute. This guy is better than the game ratings say, so we'll protect him. Also, Sepulveda. Jerry Sepulveda. Sepulveda? Sepulveda. Sounds like a brand of cheese. Probably just going to speed through most of the rest of the off season once things get going. I have lost my fork. I may not even have a fork. Well, that's fantastic then. Oops. Did he sign? No. A third team's in the running. This is frustrating. It's really frustrating. I feel like there was another guy. Can't afford him. His price went down. That's interesting. Can play anywhere. Not as great, but more consistent. That's actually, like, terrifyingly consistent. What the hell, dude? Oh, well, except 2023, which, who knows? He wanted to be consistent in the other direction that year, because why not? I don't really know. I want to get this guy. Fuck it. Well, I mean, that's quite a bit higher than we were thinking, isn't it? So we don't get him until, or we don't get him before winter meetings end, rather, which is disappointing. Although the Indians didn't get Edwin until after winter meetings, if I'm remembering correctly. Although it was like right after, I believe. Season tickets are almost the same, even though they're almost 20% more expensive. That's a great sign. And again, it's going to be the lowest player payroll in baseball because we have no budget. Because Dolans are still cheap. There's so many ways in which this game is realistic. Although it's nice that in every other area, he's a hashtag good guy. I barely ever take anybody in the Rule 5 draft. Every once in a while, there's a guy that's just irresistible, but I'm not going to take anybody. Nothing here is worth my time. Well, somebody picked up that picture. Oh well. If anybody has predictions or fun ideas about what they think might go on in real life baseball this year, go ahead and throw them out. Always something I'm excited to talk about. given that I write for a baseball website and spend my free time doing this on occasion. That's not a great top prospect. Let's see who made it to the Hall of Fame. Nope, it's going to do like the end of year scouting and data dump. I'm going to get a fork and I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Excellent. I just want to show you this masterpiece of culinary art from Miso's here in Chicago. I haven't had it before, but apparently the internet says it's incredible. I've never seen a place that has like 2,000 only 4- and 5-star reviews that's a hole in the wall before. So the dumplings were good. I will say that. Fun that there's a Branch Rickey quote. I'm actually reading right now Roger Kahn's The Boys of Summer, which is fantastic. If you haven't read it, I'm not to the end yet. I think I'm about halfway through, but just, hey, we got him. Reading about baseball at that time, there's some things that are completely foreign that we wouldn't even recognize or accept in today's game. Then at the same time, there's some stuff like the players trash talking to each other and joking around with each other. And things really haven't changed in a lot of ways there at all. Especially if you've read Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. Like, it seems like there's a part of baseball life that most fans don't usually see that hasn't changed at all. And that's kind of fun. Now let's see who's in the Hall of Fame. No one? Does it not? Oh, I guess I don't have that turned on. Oh, well. Should be able to get it from news. CC Sabathia and Justin Verlander. Oh, he went as an Indian? That seems wrong. It seems very wrong. As far as CC, that's a little better. I think that's actually defensible for a starting pitcher. It's still not, you know, phenomenal, but I think most people would take it. And that's probably it. I want to poke around a little bit more to see if there's any random good free agent pickups that I can grab. But I have a feeling there's not going to be much else worth doing at this point. Probably not, anyway. Free agents. No. No. I mean, if that's actually... I just noticed for the first time that scouts give different contract demands between your head scout and the league scouting service. I've never noticed that. I don't know if that's new or if it's been in the game for years. It's just, how helpful. No. It's just something feels wrong there. If he was actually worth it, someone would have thrown a lot of money at him already. Like $4 to $5, maybe. Maybe even $6. Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Cleveland. Expos are back. The former Tampa Bay Rays. We added a team in Portland and a team in Austin. The Rangers moved to Dallas, and the A's moved to San Jose, which seemed like the most reasonable way in the next few years that the league would decide to expand and decide to shuffle teams around if they do, because there's already talk about the A's moving to San Jose eventually. And there's definitely been some chatter about the Rangers moving from Arlington. And we got so much extra money that we're still almost last in payroll. So, sweet. Great. Good to go. I think that's going to help us accomplish literally nothing. Phenomenal. I don't think there's anything else I want to change. Nice to see a little bit of bump in media and everything from last year. And I'm hoping merchandise goes up because it's a World Series winning team. You would think. Jose Abreu at 39. What? It's cool that it has his Cuban statistics still. Anyway, there's nothing to do until spring training. No one else to sign. The only other real thing I'm going to take a look at here is when teams get cut, or when teams make cuts for before the season starts after spring training ends, because they've got to cut down to the 25-man roster and release some guys from the 40-man roster as well. And even in real life, that's a time that teams will take a look and see who's available that just got cut and try to pick a guy up. Like I said earlier, it has worked spectacularly well for some reason in this playthrough. When I was looking at it earlier, I think there were literally, like, scattered throughout the players, 4 or 5 wins above replacement that I just found on waivers before the start of the year. Pretty neat. Also, the league is totally realigned so that it makes sense to have 32 teams. Playoffs are still more or less the same, but I think, as you saw, I got rid of the one-game wild card because it's an abomination. It must be stopped. It's at least got to be 3 games. At least. Like, I could start pitching one game, and it's possible that my team would win that game, even though there's no planet on which I should ever possibly be the starting pitcher for a team that goes on to win. I wouldn't get the win. I'd probably give up like 6 runs. But the team could theoretically still win that game. They don't deserve to win the series because of that. That was a weird tangent, and I'm sorry. Now, spring training rosters. Derp, derp. Derp, derp. Yeah, we'll just let the AI do it. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not good. Well, that's not good at all. One, a torn quad probably hurts like hell. Second of all, I'm looking in the wrong place for disabled players. Disabled list. Disabled list players, comma, players who are on the disabled list, not disabled players. Excuse me. So I just put them on the 60-day DL instead of the 15-day DL, didn't I? It's probably too late to change, isn't it? Yeah, so that was stupid. So we're not going to have a starting center fielder for the first month of the year. Awesome. In my defense, in real life, you can't accidentally cut someone or put them on the wrong DL because you click a button too fast. Still pretty stupid, though. And now our center fielding prospect is hurt, too. That's what we want, right? Yes, I'm drinking a Coke. Oh God, real sugar. Or not real sugar, but like not diet soda. Oh God, that's sweet. Oh, it's been so long. That's so weird. Anyway, let's keep simulating. And I'll try to stop slowly veering off course entirely, like an idiot. Stop dying! Everyone stop dying now. Nice to see that Aaron Bentley's mashing in spring training. He was the starting first baseman at the first pitch of the playoffs. Like broke his ankle or something. Yeah, because he was leading off and he got hurt on the first play. So the Indians won without their starting first baseman, too, which I think is fantastic. But still, what the hell? Right. Yeah, they're all pissed because we didn't get Trevor Williams back, and I didn't care to get him back because he was initially asking for like $9 million a year. So, of course, I just sort of forget about it, and he gets a 1-year contract for $1.5 million. Also, he walks the world every time he pitches, so he can suck it. He's due for some regression anyway. Joke's on you, Giants. Enjoy the cellar. He'll probably win the Cy Young. So, one thing that didn't happen last season was half of the starting lineup getting hurt in spring training. The game is a little bit easier when your players don't keep getting sidelined. That's the guy we spent $13 million on, too, to fill a hole that might not even be a hole, but it felt like it was a hole, so I felt like filling it. That was gross. At shortstop. That's not fun. That's delightful. We'll see how things go. I didn't expect to win the World Series at all last year, so if things tailspin again, then we're kind of where I expected to be anyway at this point, which was sort of ready to contend, but not quite there, and deciding if we're going to jettison the young guys who want all of the millions of dollars that we can't afford to try to get younger guys that are going to have more years of team control again. We just won the World Series, and he wants us to break 500. You're a darling, Jeremy Dolan. Just the best. Can I move him to the 15-day DL, or is that still... That's still not how baseball works, right? It'd be nice if they were like, are you sure you want to move him to the disabled list that's 60 days long instead of 15 days long? Because he's only hurt for 3 weeks? But no. What a stupid I am. Well, time to cut everybody. Goodbye, pitchers. Oh, I guess we have to cut Kyle McAdam outright. Actually, a few of these guys are going to be dead soon. Oh, and he was a second-round pick. I kind of want to keep him just to see if he can be that bad again. Although if we waive him, I really doubt anybody's going to bother to pick him up. So that's good. This was like our backup everything last season. Not terrible for a guy coming off the bench, just basically right at replacement level, which is what he's done for most of his career. Plus, he shows some leadership and is very smart. Just casually destroying people's dreams, kicking them off a roster. Only 4. Yeah, the bench kind of sucks. I should probably make sure I have a reasonable number of players at each position now, too. Still too many pitchers. So, like, 3 more pitchers to get rid of, but... That's one of the weird things about this team, is I have a pretty solid stable of relievers and not much depth at the positions. But you want a guy like that getting some more time to develop in the minors. This guy can still be a starter, so you want him to try to go back and do that. Probably will end up being a reliever, but still. And then everybody else probably belongs. What a weird team. We'll send down Villarreal, but he'll be back. Yeah, even all these guys, they're saying, like, you should play them. How did I end up with so many good relievers? What have I done? I'm not complaining about having so much pitching depth, but that doesn't necessarily make this very easy. Ooh. So this is maybe a guy we can send back down. I know it says that he's great as a reliever, but I don't want relievers necessarily that are notoriously kind of easy to find in this game. So if he can have a little bit more time to develop, that's just great. That gets us to 25. And I actually think I got rid of one too many pitchers. We're not going with a 6-man rotation. What is that? Yeah, we can grab one more pitcher. I don't really know which one to pick. They all kind of belong. These guys are basically identical. That changeup, though. He's probably going to have nastier stuff. And I mean, this guy was like a top-ranked prospect too, so we're gonna give him the call. We've got one more guy to cut on the field, and it's gonna be one of these third basemen. Which is sad. He could be back. Oh, he's out of option years. Just guessing how to set it up. I have no center fielder. That's an issue, in fact. So there's a little more to do than I thought. Yeah, there's no place for a third baseman, a third first baseman on this team, so goodbye. He can play either position up the middle. Joe Burnett isn't great. Justin Cruz is great defensively. Meh. It probably doesn't matter. And it's not like he's destroyed AAA pitching either. Whereas Cruz kind of did. So, goodbye, Joe. Center fielder. This is going to be depressing. Nope. Oh, God. We could let this guy make the jump from high A to the major leagues. Should we, though? Falco's on the 40-man. Played a little bit. Nobody died. Actually had 124 at-bats and was fair. So, cool. I thought we needed one more pitcher. We do. So... Nasius. Yeah, see, I have no left-handed pitching still, basically. I didn't start with any because I let the game simulate like 8 years before I took over. But as in real life, how do you find it? Is he left-handed? I'll feel real dumb if he is. No, of course he's not. And like the next pitcher on the list. Right. Right. A knuckleballer. And plus, Davis knows how to fit in. Looks like a fish, though. I have the game set. The game is supposed to give you ratings up to 80, and the league thinks that he has a 95 grade out of 80 knuckleball. I would expect that thing to start like towards the concession stand, and somehow it just wobbles at the last second, right in front of the batter's face, backs up, crosses the plate. That would be some Bugs Bunny shit. I desperately want him to work out. Please. Holy shit, that would be fun. Here's the other thing is I don't know if this game factors in playing time to development. So it's entirely possible that I can just call up Armando anyway. And it won't matter. I'm just going to do it. Or did I already call someone up? I'm confused and confusing myself. Okay. Derp. I was looking for another lefty just in case. Kluber probably won't pitch 110 innings again this year. But it wouldn't hurt me if he did. Cool. That should be good. That should do it. We should be ready to go. We just need to do this and then make sure the bench coach doesn't give us something that's total garbage. Kind of did. Just quickly, we're going to need a fourth outfielder eventually. Oh, well. I just want to look at the splits real quick from last season. Whereas last year, there it is, versus lefties. Just to get an idea of where people should be hitting. Aaron Bentley fourth is great. I was going to say, I thought Rigby was very good. There's no way a guy who's getting on better than almost anyone else is going to hit that low. Why do I have all left-handed hitters? What have I done? What is this madness? Well, No fixing it now. Yeah, I'm not going to hit a guy who got on 260. I would love it if everything Davis throws is like a knuckle ethos. It would be phenomenal. Like, I've rarely ever even seen a knuckleballer in this game, too, in anything other than a historical mode, so that's amazing. Bentley, Rigby. Oh, that's the answer. Great! And now, versus right-handed pitching. And now, versus right-handed pitching. What? I don't understand. I'm just gonna wing it then. Based on overall, since it's not splitting correctly, which means the other one probably wasn't split at all. What is happening? Sometimes my brain doesn't function properly at all. I don't know, guys. Sometimes my brain doesn't function. So, not necessarily want him against righties that high. That's probably perfect. Okay. Boldly, we enter the first game of the season. You know, I can't complain with that to start the year. That's pretty good. I'll take it. Don't run on Amaya. I can't think of anything clever that rhymes for that. Time for a double steal. Oh, well. Oh, his arm is 80. Maybe I won't steal anymore. If we get to the 5th or so and the lead's still 3 runs, I'm just going to skip the rest of it, and then we'll get into the meat of the season. But I always like to do opening day, because it's opening day. Because it's opening day. Boo. Also boo. Okay. Shucks. 47 pitches through 4. Why'd it go to pitch by pitch mode? That was weird. Anyway, holding the runner at the moment because he's fast as the Dickens. Common baseball saying there for you guys. Yes. Yeah, I think Amaya's either 3 for 4 or... Oh, he's 3 for 3 with 4 RBIs. That's a good start. Home run and a double, so I think he just needs a triple now for the cycle. When was the last time a catcher hit for the cycle? Huh. I'd actually be pretty curious to know that. And we're scoring. And we're killing. And this is getting out of control, and it's wonderful. Yeah, we're just going to do the rest of the game because it's out of reach. Seems like we might be getting a little bit laggy here. So I apologize if that's the case. But everything looks okay in settings. So I don't think I bumped something that made another thing catch fire. But did he hit for the cycle? Four for 5. No triples. Still, that's a good first game. Starter goes 8. Only gives up 3. And gave them all up in like the 8th. So, cool. And we get an achievement. Oh. So, Amaya, by the way, this is a wonderful story. Defensive first catcher. This is game 4 of the World Series. And the Indians are down. I think they started the inning down. They tied it, and he hit a walk-off bomb to give the Indians, instead of a 2-1 lead, a 2-1 lead, a 3-2-1 lead, and then they of course won the last game there. But I don't normally get incredibly excited when playing this game, but walk-off dingers in the World Series, that's something. Why does everyone want Lamar Armstrong? Oh, because I didn't notice that he's incredibly good, or could be. Why did I... What? How did I not even notice that? So I'm pretty sure that pulls him back off waivers. I don't know. It's possible I lost him. I don't understand how I accidentally moved someone who's going to be a great player to waivers. I'm going to see if I can place him on the active roster just to be safe. We can do without Jonas Wyatt for a game. Okay. I guess I lost a great future starting pitcher just because I wasn't paying attention. Oh well. No, you know what? Fuck that. It's stupid. He should have option years left, too. I hope I can edit that. I think I can. Yeah, there's no way. Well, I guess that last one would have been the last option, but I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have counted as an option if I hadn't just waived him, right? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I'm cheating anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and cheat. So put him on the 40-man roster. Gee, idiot. Yeah, I really don't know how I missed that. That's silly. There's always a time to cheat. What are my manager settings? Well, I didn't get a ton of sleep last night, and I think it's starting to show. I can't remember where things are. Who was the other guy that we just moved down? Jonas! There you go. He should be used more often, too. He's good. I mean, they're all good, but they're good dogs, Brent. One thing I am going to be keeping my eye on is whether or not the outfielders get tired because they don't have anybody to back them up. Let's make sure that Lamar didn't somehow cross the border again. The AI demoted him to Doughaway. Okay. Whatever. I mean, obviously his potential's higher as a relief pitcher because that's kind of the case for any pitcher, but just wanted to make sure the game didn't steal him back. Wub. It'd be sweet if we have someone lead the league in dingers. And we have a real outfielder now. We'll probably get rid of one of these bonus infielders. How about the guy who hasn't played? And I'm not concerned at all about someone picking him up. And I'm not even going to bother with rehab time. I trust that this will work out. So good old Jimmer is going to be the backup. And we can probably keep Sal towards the bottom of the order. But we'll want to break things up a little bit more here. At least at the back of the order. So, generate depth charts. Solid. No, not the ClueBot. Sorry, Corey. Maybe it'll just make you better when the playoffs come around. And now we have no choice but to call up the Armando Villarreal. The one. The only. It's, well, that's a little concerning, but overall, it's not a bad bullpen. It'd be nice to give it fewer runs. When is it not nice to give up fewer runs, though? What a stupid thing to say. So this is about how I expected the team to play last year, but instead they got off to like a 20-5 start, which ended up carrying them most of the way. But I wonder what's holding us back. I have the settings set so they don't try to steal that many bases. But only stealing 2 bases in 20 games is a little bit low. So let's take a look here. They're not even set to be that low. What? Okay. I won't ask questions. The nice thing is, we have a decent center fielder on the team now who's actually the backup. So that's not a bad thing at all. I'd like to do a couple of months before I really take a look at doing any adjustments. I mean, unless things are disastrously bad, which in this case, we're leading the division. So I don't believe there's any reason to be overly concerned. And we don't need to give him a rehab assignment because he will, was accidentally on the DL for too long. Hey, and this guy actually lived up to his pedigree as being replacement level. Known for his bombast. Sounds kind of dirty. But now we've got our real lineup for the most part. I'll just have him generate it again, and then I'll fix it a little. Although that actually is pretty good. Some changes. Yeah, that's solid. Make sure there's nothing dumb in the depth chart. There isn't. Let's go! Well, excuse me. That was gross, and I apologize. He is going to get some rehab time because he's an older shortstop who strained an oblique. Not that Jason Kipnis was old, but we know what a strained oblique can do to a ball player. Bad things. Is it 2014 that he went through that, I believe? That sounds right. How is Sal Cordova so bad? Was that last year? That has to be last year. We want this year. Ooh. So, pretty clear who's not pulling their weight. That's bad. I mean, they're both getting on base decently, but that's bad, you guys. Sal Cordova might start playing in left field every day. I mean, he can obviously handle it, even though he's not played there. Yeah. Sorry, Gene. You had a good year last year, but you done got boned. Generate depth charts. I just spit everywhere. See, the game just doesn't know how superior Sal Cordova's baseball is at the moment. It's disappointing. They've received a personal message. The owner died. Jeremy Dolan wasn't that old. So that's a slightly more aggressive timeline. Dolans aren't cheap anymore. Oh, if this team suddenly gets a bunch of money because of a new owner, that could be really good. Obviously, the problem is that no one can hit if we're 16th in batting average. Oh my god. That's terrible. How is that even possible? Not that, batting average is the be all end all, but still, these are terrible numbers. Bedgood is good. He's not bad. So if he learns or remembers how to walk and can start hitting the ball for power again, that would be nice. And since Ronald Washington came back, he's decided to be a human dumpster fire. I wouldn't have expected Sal Cordova to be the best outfielder, but here we are. That's not good. We've got a guy at catcher who's going to come up, but I'm not going to call him up now. Also, if these dudes in the bullpen keep out pitching the guys who are actually starting, they're fuck it. I'm getting rid of Nicolino right now. Is he fresh? No. I wonder what they think he is as a starter. Nobody. They think he's nobody. As effective he is as a reliever, I don't care. Keep pitching, bruh. I want to try to get to the All-Star break before hanging it up tonight. How's Trent? Is Trent good? Trent is walking the world. Also listed as a relief pitcher, but is starting. He might be destined for the bullpen before the end of this year. Carranza's fine. I don't... Oh, I'm very tired. Yeah. Step one setup, man. Whatever. I don't think that matters, really. I've set it up before where no one in the bullpen has a position at all, but things get a little bit weird. Like the game does a decent job at making sharing the load, but not always spectacularly well. Oh, that rehab assignment went on for too long, didn't it? Vergara has had his chance at the major league level now. He has blown it. Should be a very easy substitution to make in both lineups. And if he starts to rake, he starts to rake. You move him up. Yeah, there's good guys on this team. They just suck. What are you gonna do? At his age, Kluber is definitely going to get a rehab assignment. So the Indians are in it. I mean, if they can just get to, well, the draft. We'll stop at the draft because I'll spend a little bit of time on that next time. And then maybe Saturday, depending on what goes on, I can stream for a little bit and get to the end of this season. I'll let people know one way or the other. I may or may not be getting news about work tomorrow that's important for the rest of my life. It might not happen until next week. But that's all for now. Thanks, everyone who dropped by. Thanks especially to everyone who's still sticking around. We will push next time, whenever it is. Definitely I'll stream again next Thursday. But we may not, or we may stream, I might pick it up again sometime this weekend and finish up this season. But we will find out just how many championships we can make these Indians teams win. So, until next time, I'm Matt Schlichting. Go check out letsgotribe.com for some great writings about the Cleveland Indians. And have